full swing at this point, and not to mention college football.
Yep, exactly. I've been hearing that there's been a lot of cancellations, but if we have fans that are listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure you can jump onto the great site that sponsors us here and find a smoking deal for this weekend. Cruise on up, man. Check it out. Come put in some wagers. Yeah, come up, put in some wagers, man, and then go over to Mandalay Bay. Throw, $25-$30 into the machine if you plan on gambling or whatever, and just take a walk around and look and you'll know when you're there that it's just as safe as it ever was. This is an unfortunate incident, and it's tough to see the city just coming out of an economic.
You got cut off again. Please hold. Bobby will be back with just in a second. I think you like the commentary inserted right here.
It affects a lot of people's lives here. We really rely on tourism.
Yep.
So it's like one of those things. Like after the attack in New York. Nobody expects stuff like that, but you just gotta be resilient, and we gotta move on and figure out how we can avoid and mitigate that stuff in the future, but not shift our way of life and turn our way of life into a police state like we have to, like the unfortunate people in Israel have to live horribly.
I agree. Well, let's talk about National College Association football, NCAA, AAPD, QRST, and yet nobody has tweeted or directly related any social media at me for my butchering of the NCAA, which means you guys don't know what it stands for either. So screw you guys, all of you. Still in number one, Roll Tide, Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama looking good. I mean, Nick Saban, like usual, whipping people, rolling, coming and playing Texas A&M this week.
How many points? How many points is this game at?
This game, the spread is only, I believe it's 16.5.
That's not bad.
I'm pulling it up right now. Sorry, I'm getting terrible service today.
It must be high winds.
I mean,
I've got this whole theory about high winds in Vegas, and I really, honestly, no conspiracy involved. I've got to believe that every form of electronic media is being scanned right now in your city. If it isn't, you guys are wasting my taxpayer dollars. For those of you listening that are in those positions, I expect you to be listening to my conversation.
Excuse me, no, it's 26.5.
There we go. That sounds a little more correct.
Yep, 26.5.
Oof.
So, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, I might take a flyer on A&M with that big spread. A&M's proven to be pretty resilient this year. They're playing pretty well. Lost that opening game to UCLA, but they were, ahead that whole entire game. Josh Rosen just came down the field and chopped them up. I don't know. That's a game that I might think about even teasing up and getting, the extra points and going with the 32.5, 33 points.
Clemson taking on Wake Forest.
Yeah, Clemson, I'll tell you what, man. This Clemson team covered for us last week, by the way. A nice, easy cover. Slid into that one. That was nice. I really like Clemson. I like the way that they're built. I like the coaching that they got going on there. And I like the way that they approach every game like it's serious business, because it is. And I think that this game will be a game, just another business-like game for them. Wake Forest is a tough team, another good squad in the ACC, good ball club.
4-1, they're right there. They're hanging tough.
Yeah, they're good. There's no doubt about it. And it's not a team that you're used to seeing up, hanging with the big boys in football. They have a good college basketball program. You always see them, hanging around the top 25. But in football, traditionally, not very good. But I think that Clemson comes out and they outclass them this week. I think the minus 22 might be a little bit too much. I'm probably staying away from that one this week.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Sooners taking on Iowa State, taking on the Cyclones.
Yeah, the Ames Iowa Cyclones, my little sister's alma mater.
There you go. This should be a spread of at least 450 points.
It's close. Four touchdowns. 4 Baker Mayfield.
That's intense.
Yeah, and you know what? I think they'll cover that spread. I think the way Oklahoma's playing right now, they're scoring, they're going up and down the field like it's nobody's business. Even when they're giving up points, it doesn't matter because nobody can keep up with the way Mayfield's playing. Everybody that listens to the show knows that I think Saquon Barkley is the greatest player that's ever played football. But we got this kid. He's right there with them. He's taken Oklahoma to heights that I didn't think that they'd be able to reach this year. I didn't think they'd beat Ohio State. That's for sure. I thought it'd be a tough game. I might have had a little bit of hyperbole, but deep down I figured that Urban Meyer would figure out a way. But minus Bob Stoops, this team is playing out of this world good, and Baker Mayfield is, a Heisman candidate right there, the only guy I can think of right now that has a shot at beating Saquon for the Heisman.
Penn State taking on Northwestern.
14 and a hooker, and I like it. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good place for Penn State. Penn State's coming off of a nice drumming last weekend, doing exactly what they're supposed to do. This Penn State team is very good, boys and girls. Let me tell you what, Saquon Barkley, I know you're probably tired of hearing about this guy. But
who's the Saquon Barkley guy that you've been speaking of repeatedly over the last, since we've been doing the Wednesday shows? That's a joke.
Yeah, just this guy from
I've
Happy
heard the
Valley,
name occasionally come up on this show.
He's my kind of ball player, too. He scores. He acts like he's been there before.
He's going to be a Charger, by the way. At the way things are going, he's about to be a Charger.
With my luck, he's going to end on the Patriots.
Brutal.
The one team I
Who
can't
trade
root for
up to the Chargers and offer them something horrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's just my luck. And the Jets will draft the friggin' bum from USC, Darnold, and then we'll get that for the whole entire career. Darnold from the Patriot fans. I can see it now.
Outstanding.
I can see it now. Or the Jets, or they'll have the first overall pick, and they'll draft, a kicker from St. Cloud State University. That's typical Jets. They're so annoying.
Really? Is that any better than getting Vu Kim, the rookie, who choked the first two games on kicks? I digress. Georgia taking on Vanderbilt.
Georgia is built to last this season. Let me tell you about Georgia. I have a good friend of mine named Jessica who is a diehard Georgia Bulldog fan, so much to the point where I have to tell her to shut her mouth sometimes. I can't take it. But her team's coming to they're proving it this year. They're bringing it. Usually Georgia folds in big situations. I don't think this is one of those situations. I don't think Vanderbilt's ready to handle Chubb. I don't think they're ready to handle that physical defense that Georgia's bringing right now. I think that it's a great spot to bet Georgia, even at the 17.5. I'm even more interested in teasing that down.
I don't blame you. Trap game, Washington taking on Cal.
This is one, like you said, this is definitely a trap game. And I'll tell you what, I really have no desire to lay 27.5 in the Pac-12 this year.
That's a lot of points.
Just too many points. It is. They score too many points in that over there out west, in the other division, as I like to call it. It's not my I really don't. God, I'm probably going to take a lot of heat for this, but I'm not a big fan of Pac-12 football.
I don't blame you. And I'm in the middle of Pac-12 football.
I like bruising football, where it's won in the trenches, and I like, running the ball for 45 carries and having big, gigantic, punishing backs like, Ron Dane in Wisconsin and Kajana Carter at Penn State, and the list goes on. So, the Pac-12 is fun to watch if you want to watch a shootout for sure, but I don't know, maybe I just have a bad taste in my mouth because I hate USC that much.
You should. Which means by default you should hate Seattle as well.
Oh, Pete Carroll coached the Jets, remember, for a second. I am not a fan of Pete Carroll.
Michigan versus Michigan State, trap game.
Big time trap game. I have no faith in Michigan. Come on, what are you guys doing out there, Harbaugh? Get it together. Every time I think I got a good spot to throw a wager in on you guys blow it. Maybe, I don't know, I don't even know. I'm so agitated with Michigan this year. I haven't even looked at this game yet to see if Spate's playing, because if he's not playing, you have a better chance of winning. This guy is terrible. I hope beyond hope he's ready for the Penn State game, because we're going to eat this guy alive.
TCU taking on West Virginia.
Boy, this is a good game. Let me tell you what, TCU gave it to me in the pants a couple of weeks ago. They're a lot tougher than I thought they were, and every year they come out and they prove to be this tough squad. So when am I going to just give them the respect that they're due? Well, that's this weekend. This weekend, I think that TCU covers the spread, the minus 13. I'm not a big believer in West Virginia the same way I was not a big believer in Virginia Tech. Neither of these teams impress me. They're not great. They're young. They've proven nothing. They've beaten nobody. And TCU, on the other hand, hey, look what they did to Oklahoma State. We're talking about a tough Oklahoma State team here that can score with the best of them. And TCU came in and they played stepdaddy.
Wisconsin taking on at Nebraska.
See, this is a game where I traditionally hate Nebraska.
So do I. They're a good team to hate.
Yes, in the 1994-95 season, Penn State was undefeated, and so was Nebraska.
Can I
The
give
Rose
you
Bowl
my analogy on it? I think Nebraska is the college version of Green Bay.
You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
Right? Like, your town is just too wrapped up on one thing.
Yes, and it's so funny because, like I was just saying, in 94-95, we were both undefeated. Penn State and Nebraska were both undefeated. Somehow, miraculously, Nebraska is the only team to get a share. We don't even get a share of the national title, and back then, obviously, you got a share of the national title sometimes. It was all different, no playoff system, obviously. But Penn State just destroyed Oregon, destroyed everybody that season. I mean, it wasn't even close. And then to get shafted like that, I've never really let Nebraska go for that. I've been pissed at them ever since. And once they joined the Big Ten, I was really happy because now we get to crush them on the field. Unfortunately, not this game. I digress a bit, but I don't like Nebraska in this game anyway. I don't like them. I don't think they're a good team this year. They've proven to be soft this year. The black shirts aren't there. It's not the same kind of defense. The Tom Osbornes are gone. The glory days are gone. Boys, I'm sorry. All you have to look forward to are great steaks.
No doubt. Last but not least, the Ohio State taking on Maryland? Question mark?
Yeah, Maryland. Yep. I'll tell you what, Maryland is a very confusing team. They were down to their third-string quarterback last week, and I forget his name, something kind of...
And they beat the Gophers.
Yeah, and you know what? I was on them. I had them on my teaser. I had hit two. If you were following the show last week and you put together the teasers, we hit 2 6-team teasers last week on the show.
Do I even want to know what you got paid? How'd you get paid? Come on. You can
it was one of those... catch me over to the side of the counter type days.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very nice payday. I mean, look, if you bet,
did you cover the rent for the month? That's the only question.
We did all right this month. Let's just say things are going all right leading up to NHL. And not even just that, my crazy girlfriend likes to play this slot machine called Buffalo. So I'm laying in my bed the other day. She's nice enough to go put in a bet for me every now and then on her way home from pumping some iron at the gym. She calls me the other day or texts me, and I'm laying in bed, and she says, "Babe, I'm up $500. I was like, what are you talking about? She says, oh, in the Buffalo game. I'm like, oh, sweet. Awesome. Next thing you know, 5 minutes later, babe, I'm up $1,100. I'm coming home. So not only does she smack him for $1,100 out of the machine there and smart enough to walk away with a C note, I mean, with $1,000 in her pocket, we whacked him at the betting window as well. So the Fertitas, I'm getting back a little bit of my pay-per-view money.
Yep, I agree. So, how do you like the Ohio State in this game?
Ohio State's one of those teams where you gotta wager on Ohio State until they prove that they're not going to do it. But like I was saying with Maryland, they're tough. They're a very tough team. I don't know what team's going to show up. Is that quarterback going to be able to perform like that, like he did against Minnesota against Ohio State? I doubt it. But is it going to be to the tune of 30.5 points? Man, that's a big number to hang in a rivalry game like this. Not huge rivalry, but conference game. Maryland's playing with house money. They're flying high after that great game in Minnesota. Hey, weirder things have happened. We've seen Ohio State get beat at home once this year. Who knows? I'm not interested in laying 30.5. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. It's time to turn to the NFL. If you are listening to this at least by Thursday, New England and Tampa Bay, probably one of the best games of the week, in my humble opinion.
Oh, yeah, look, Tampa Bay, I've been a big fan since the season started. Look, that was my bet of the week last week. They got us by a hook. The Giants came back. We lost by a half a point in that one. But if you followed the tees, you covered your bet and you won on the tees. So that's why I'm so adamant about the tees. And when I talk about it, it's very important that, if you're looking at...
Oh, got cut off. Hold on, everybody. The Gremlins have attacked. We've had a good run, but there was a gust of wind. They'll be back momentarily.
There
he is.
If you have that teaser, then you have yourself a little bit of a chance. You get that wiggle room, you know what I mean?
I completely agree. What do you like in this game?
This is the game. I liked New England in this game, to be honest with you. I think that Tampa Bay, like I said, very good team, very promising, up and coming. But I think that New England is going to be a little PO'd after losing to Carolina at home last week. And I think, unfortunately, Tampa Bay is going to be the victim to get it taken out on them.
There you go. All right, let's go through the Sunday lineups. Here we go. San Francisco 0-4 taking on the beleaguered Indianapolis Colts, who apparently are never getting Andrew Luck back. Or is it? No, he's gone to the practice squad. He's getting
Yeah,
closer,
the-
people.
Yeah, I think it's wasn't it the physically unable to perform squad?
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, I think he's on the pup. I think he's far away. I don't even know what the hell's wrong with him. I haven't seemed to, anything I've read, I haven't really gotten a straight answer. But